Hello, I'm Rick Morris. This is a recovery video, and it's step 5. We admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. The scripture that I picked out to go along with that is, "You hypocrite, you first take the log out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly how to take the speck out of your brother's eye." That's when you see something wrong with somebody else. Make sure your own eyes are clear before you start trying to clean somebody else up. That's Matthew 7:5. The reason the title of this one is theft. And the reason I'm going into this is because I want you to understand what you're up against, how to make sure that God is on your side, that you have the power of the creator of the universe helping you, and why you probably haven't understood that in the past. So I got a lot to cover here, and it's some of it is gonna take some work on your part to understand what I'm trying to say, but I'm gonna do the best I can to get this lesson across. Now, I got 3 scenarios. We're going to call them number 1, number 2, and number 3. And I want you to rank them in order of seriousness. And so let me describe. Number 1, a person goes into a bank teller to get some cash. 2 $20 bills stick together, and he receives $20 too much. He doesn't realize it until he gets home, all the way from the bank, 10 miles all the way home. Scenario number 2. A person has been working with a CPA on his income tax return. When he gets out to his car, he realizes he kept a 50-cent ink pen, a Bic pen, in his shirt pocket. Scenario number 3. A person goes to a large grocery store, mega store. When they get the groceries put in the back seat, looks over at his toddler, and she has a piece of candy in her fist, tied up in her hand, that he knows she didn't pay for. Okay, we got 3 scenarios. Are any of these theft? If a teller gave you $20 too much and you kept it, is that theft? If you've been working with a CPA on your tax return and you get out to your car and you accidentally put a ink pen in your pocket and you look down and you see it and you drive away, is that theft? If your little toddler, was in the grocery store with you, and you know how enticed they are with the candy right there at the checkout stand, and you get out to the car and you start to pull away and you look in her hand, her little hand, and there's a piece of candy worth a penny that she didn't pay for. Is that theft? Now rank these in order of the seriousness, and then we'll talk about it. Okay. I'm going to give you my take. You've all had a chance to give your opinion. In my opinion, they're all theft. When we take anything that doesn't belong to us, we're stealing. It's theft. You might say, "Come on, Rick. I got bigger fish to fry than this. I'm trying to get sober. Why are you talking about this? What does this mean?" Well, we can fry that 40-pound catfish a little later. But right now, let's take each of these scenarios and talk about them. Get it clear. Let's get this clear. Number 1, it is certainly painful to have to drive back to the bank to return a $20 bill. However, that teller may have to make up that $20 at the end of the day when she checks up her cash register. and it's her mistake. This is not a theft from the bank, it's a theft from the teller, but it's a theft if you don't take the money back. 2, this one is very interesting. This one is about working with your CPA and you get out to your car and you have an ink pen you didn't pay for. And was that a theft? Did you steal an ink pen? If after a struggle with your conscience, the person drives away with the ink pen, then in the eyes of heaven, they are a thief. No, I said, with a struggle of the conscience. Number three is a teachable moment with a toddler. If a parent gives a toddler a penny and then they walk back into the grocery store and the toddler goes up to the teller and says, "I'm sorry, I took a piece of candy and I didn't pay for it. Here's my penny." That will go a long way to teaching that child what honesty is for the rest of their life. But if you don't take that teachable moment, have you taught your child anything? Have you taught them it's okay to take things that don't belong to them without permission, without paying? Okay. Now, why would I say all 3 of these are theft? And what difference does that make when I'm trying to get sober? Well, number 1, the $20 bill. If you go to the trouble to drive back to the teller and you give her $20 back, you say, two of those 20 stuck together, you gave me too much money. That lady is going to be so appreciative because it's not going to come out of her pocket or out of her skin from a boss chewing her out. But bigger than that, Satan can't use this against you when you ask God to help you. See, there's a courtroom in heaven. Jesus is your advocate. It says that. And God is the judge. And Satan is the accuser. It says that in Scripture. When you get this clear in your mind that when you make things right, you take that $20 back, Satan doesn't have a leg to stand on. As a matter of fact, God will use it in your favor. Jesus will be your advocate. He'll bring it up the next time Satan comes after you. The second scenario is very interesting. I said after a struggle with your conscience. If there's no conscience involved and it's still theft. If you realize you took somebody's pen, take 5 minutes, put your car in park, go back up there and give them the pen. Even if you have to leave it at the receptionist's desk, it's not yours, it's theirs. That goes a long way in the court of heaven. I'm telling you, it's powerful. God doesn't care if it's $300,000 theft or a 50-cent pen. It's all theft. We have to get that straight in our mind. If we want God to help us, we need to be righteous in His eyes. And just making things right is one way to do it. Another way is just to ask Him for forgiveness if you truly don't ever want to do that again. But the third scenario is a piece of candy that's cost a penny, and you didn't even steal it. Your daughter stole it. She's 2 years old. She doesn't know right from wrong. Why is that theft? It's theft when you look down and you see it in her hand, and you know she's under your control, she's in your authority, and you need to make that right. If you make that right, I'm telling you that 1 penny piece of candy is as big as a wire fraud in white collar bank of 300,000. In God's eyes, they're both theft. So, if I've done my best to be morally clean, and I talk to God about it, and I talk to another person, just like it says in the step, I've done my dead level best to ask for forgiveness where I've failed. I get God's attention, and He will help me. He helped me. That's why I've got decades of freedom. Moral inventory is a daunting task. This is only one area, theft. But you don't want to be a thief. This is one of the easier ones. When we understand what the stakes are and how important it is, we will have our mind change, and we will start becoming sober, and we'll have the God of the universe helping us. All right, that's this session. We'll go to the next one.